Well, hello and welcome back to Philbert Flies. Today we are going to be simulating United Airlines Flight 2351. Oh dear, I've got a dreadful echo. Flight 2351. There we are, that's better. Excuse me. As I say, United Airlines Flight 2351, Santa Barbara to Denver. And we're going to be having a look at two of the add-on sceneries that are available. That are specifically ORBX Santa Barbara and Flightbeam Denver. I have flown around Denver for a bit and I'm very impressed with the Flightbeam scenery, but this is my first time trying out Santa Barbara. Let's get started. So here we are, parked at a gate. As you can see, the jetway is connected. I'm going to start by giving you a little bit of a tour of the airport. We won't go mad, it's a very small airport and I won't show you every bit of turf, but we'll at least have a little look at the terminal. Very impressive modelling. It's a lovely little building as well, isn't it? Quite quaint looking. And as usual, one of my cats, Morris, is trying to get heavily involved with this. He's standing in front of my monitor. Yeah, it's nice and clean. Yeah, it's nicely done. I mean, everything that's coming out now, as far as I'm aware, is a port from the P3D version and the FSX version. But yeah, looks good, doesn't it? Right, let's get in to the cockpit. There we are. Got the usual door warning alarm. Okay, let's get underway. Cat pics, I don't know, possibly some point. Right, so we'll go to our init A page. I've already planned the flight using SimBrief and imported it into the sim. So most of this is filled in. We just need to add a cost index, which determines basically the efficiency of the aircraft. It's a trade-off between the amount of fuel burnt and the speed. I'm going to use 20 for this flight, which is a prototypical figure. It varies, as I understand it, from flight to flight depending on the dispatcher's instructions, but 20 works well. We'll go to the performance page. That's interesting. Why are we in climb cruise? Why can't we do our pre-flight? There we are, takeoff. Right, so we're going to change the transition altitude to 18,000 feet. And as per usual, we'll set the thrust reduction and acceleration altitude to 1,500 and 3,000. This varies between airports. 1,500 and 3,000 is a fairly typical pair of figures. Some airport charts will actually stipulate this in their departure procedures, but if not, you can go for that. We'll be doing a flaps 1 takeoff with a flex temp of 55 degrees. Let's double check our flight plan. We seem to be missing our departure airport. And I bet that is because I was slewing around. Before I started this, I was using the slew mode to have a look at the airport. But do you know what? I'm going to just double check our departure chart because I think that's our first waypoint. Yeah, so we're going to be taking off from runway 7 and making a right-hand turn after takeoff, which that seems to represent. So we've got two options. We could start again and program this instrument departure in properly, or we could just hope for the best. And given the fact that this is exactly what is on the standard instrument departure, I think we'll go for that option. We'll hope for the best. Right, on the overhead panel, we have our fuel pumps turned on. We'll put our nav and logo lights on. And we'll put our beacon light on because we are getting ready to move. So we'll get the jetway disconnected and we will start our APU. Okay, so the jetway's out the way. And what we'll do is we will get our clearance.
Santa Barbara ground United 2351 IFR to Denver, ready to copy.
United 2351 is cleared to Denver Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 7, climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Departure frequency is 119.05 squawk 0161.
United 2351 cleared to Denver Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 7, climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Departure on 119.05 squawk 0161.
United 2351 readback is correct. Contact ground on 121.7 when ready to taxi.
So the transponder code, the squawk code 0161 has gone in there automatically. We'll set it to auto. And we'll have a quick listen to the ATIS.
Santa Barbara Airport information uniform 2000 Zulu. Line 054 at 5. Visibility, tree. Sky condition, few clouds at 900 feet, few clouds at 4,000 feet, few clouds at 12,300 feet. Temperature, 20. Dew point, 10. Altimeter 29.74. ILS runway 7 in use. Landing and departing runway 7. VFR aircraft say direction of flight.
Okay, good. So we had a runway 7 takeoff planned, and that's the runway in use because we have a very slight headwind at from 054 at 5 knots. So the APU should have started up by now. It has. We will put the APU bleed on, and we'll get ready to push back. Okie dokie, Cedric. Well, nice to see you, and hopefully see you for the landing. Take care. Bye. Right. APU bleed is on. External power can come off. Oh, and good luck with your class as well. Right, Shift P for pushback. Release the parking brakes. And let's have a little look at where we're going.
Santa Barbara ground United 2351 requesting pushback tug to steer the aircraft to the left.
United 2351, your request has been transmitted to the operator.
Ah, I've gone the wrong way. It's important to remember when you're requesting the pushback tug to turn you that you're not actually asking him to turn his vehicle. You need to choose the direction of the tail. So we wanted the tail to go to the right if you're the pushback tug driver, and it went to the... Sorry, we wanted it to go to the left and it went to the right. Something like that. Anyway, we'll turn it around. It's no biggie. So we've pushed back. I've reapplied the parking brake and we'll start our engines. Engine mode selector to normal. Start engine 1. And start engine 2. I must actually look up if what I've heard on other YouTube videos about the Neo having the option to start both engines together is true or not. It was a reliable source, I'm sure, so I think it is.
Santa Barbara ground United 2351 with Victor ready to taxi IFR.
United 2351 taxi to and hold short of runway 7. Contact tower on 119.7 when ready.
Taxi to and hold short runway 7 United 2351.
So our co-pilot has very kindly got our taxi clearance for us. Just wait for the engines to stabilise. And meanwhile I will have a look at my charts and work out which way we need to go. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll taxi down, take this right hand turn, crossing the 2 parallel runways, make our way up here, and then we will turn left, and the threshold of runway 7 is over there somewhere. Marvellous. Right, our engines are stable, so we'll turn the engine mode selector back to normal, and up here we can turn the APU bleed off and the APU off. We'll turn our taxi light on and we'll get going. Parking brake off, bit of power to get us moving. We'll set flaps to 1, auto brake max is set, arm the speed brake in case of a rejected takeoff. Now I don't want to jinx it, but a lot of the stutters that I was experiencing on my last flight, the Heathrow to Frankfurt flight, seem to have dissipated. Haven't had any for a little while. So with a bit of luck, it'll be a thing of the past and we'll have a beautifully smooth flight on the way to Denver. Relatively narrow taxiways here, aren't they? Having looked at Flight Radar 24, it seems that most of the flights from here are in little regional turboprops and things like that. Nothing coming. Yeah, so I suspect this airport wasn't really designed to handle A320s or anything of this size. One thing that has just occurred to me is that normally ATC will give you taxi directions, and all they've done here is told us to taxi to and hold short of runway 7. And I wonder if that's because ORBX haven't worked out the naming of the taxiways in Flight Sim 2020 yet. Doesn't particularly bother me, to be honest. And our frame rate is really good, both inside and outside the cockpit, so it's clearly a well-optimized scenery. So I've decided, contrary to popular Twitch wisdom, that mid-flight, from now on, certainly for these jet flights, these airliner flights, I'm going to talk less and show you the scenery more. And I might even nip away from my computer from time to time. So I'll leave you with some nice views and perhaps some music, and I'll talk you through. I'll only talk you through the stages of flight where I'm actively doing something. But do leave a comment, tell me what you think about this, if it's a good idea or a bad idea. I'm just conscious that for a 2-hour flight or above, there's only so much I can say to you, and I probably end up wittering on a bit too much. So unless I'm mistaken, we're now approaching the threshold of runway 7. There's not much traffic about because I'm streaming this at 11:15 UK time, which must be the middle of the night in Santa Barbara. Live weather though. It really is this gloriously sunny. Hooray! Runway 7 hold short point. I can read a map sometimes. Right, we'll contact the tower, request takeoff
Santa Barbara
clearance.
Tower, United 2351 at runway 7 ready for takeoff IFR to Denver. United 2351 cleared for takeoff runway 7. Cleared for takeoff runway 7 United 2351.
Excellent. Nose light to takeoff. Strobe on. Landing lights on. Let's get going. So you may have guessed from my channel content so far that flying the airliners is very much what I do. It's very much my comfort zone. But I have decided to try and do a few VFR streams as well, probably in the Cessna 152, probably around the UK. So that's something to watch out for on my YouTube channel soon. And if you like what you see, or you don't, but you like the sound of the VFR stuff, do please subscribe on YouTube, follow me on Twitch, like, comment, share, generally get involved. Right, let's take off. Thrust levers at 50%, engine stable. Increase the thrust levers to flex, which isn't working, so we'll do toga, no biggie. This is probably because the aircraft thinks I've already taken off. And we don't have our V-speeds on the ticker tape either, I don't think. That should do us. 130 odd knots, that's a good middle figure. There we go. In the air. Oh, I always forget the blimmin' flight director, don't I? Gear up, and look, I'm checking the lights, and it is going up. Just engage the autopilot.
Contact Los Angeles Center on 119.05. 119.05 United 2351. Los Angeles Center United 2351 is at 1,500 feet, climbing 13,000 feet. United 2351 Los Angeles Center, continue as planned. Altimeter 29.74.
Flaps up. Reduce the throttle to climb. Oh dear. It's not finding the climb detent. Is that in it? Let's have a look at the actual levers. Yeah, it is in climb. Good. So because we're passing our acceleration altitude, I think it's leveled off. Note to self, do not slew the aircraft around the airport because it'll think it's taken off and nothing will work as you think it should. See, I make the mistakes so you don't have to. Well, Santa Barbara looks rather nice, doesn't it? Beautiful mountain backdrop. Right, we've passed 10,000 feet, so we'll turn the landing lights off. There we are.
United 2351, contact Los Angeles Center on 135.5. Going to 135.5, United 2351. Los Angeles Center, United 2351 is climbing through 12,100 feet for 13,000 feet.
United 2351 Los Angeles Center, continue to mission as planned. Altimeter 29.74. United 2351 climb and maintain flight level 250.
Climb and maintain flight level 250, United 2351.
Too busy looking at the views to reset the altimeter. 29.74 at the moment. Not that 0.01 inches of mercury makes much of a difference. So we're currently flying the Mission 3, Mike India Sierra Hotel November 3 SID, which takes us out over the ocean, as you can see.
Nippon Cargo 101, descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
And these are what's known as the Channel Islands, apparently, according to Google Earth.
10,000 feet, Nippon Cargo 101.
On this island you have the Channel Islands National Park. But I can't see the name of the specific island on Google Earth. Never mind. So as you can see, we're making a left turn and we're going to come back inland over a place called Oxnard, a small town on the coast. And we're going to track northeast, just north of north of Los Angeles. So we should hopefully get a nice view of LA over our right wing.
Nippon Cargo 101, you are 5,300 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, altimeter 29.74.
Okay, so we've passed the transition altitude
Nippon Cargo 101.
of 18,000, so we'll switch to standard pressure. So this is Oxnard here. Glorious day for flying. And look how smooth and stutter-free it is. I don't know what I did, but I'm very pleased I did it. I've spent a lot of time tweaking various settings But really, I think I'm more or less back where I started. Everything's on ultra at the moment. So maybe I'd inadvertently change something to cause the stutters. Although a lot of people did report a sudden increase in stuttering, so maybe it was server load, or who knows. I'm going to stop worrying about it, stop fiddling with settings, and try and just enjoy the flying. Because you can end up down a rabbit hole with these sims, trying to get them perfectly smooth, find the right balance between performance and appearance. And in the end, does it make you happier? I don't think so.
United 2351, climb and maintain flight level tree 10.
Climb and maintain flight level tree 10, United 2351.
Nippon Cargo 101, contact Los Angeles Center on 119.05.
There's an airport down there.
119.05 for Nippon Cargo 101.
And another one down there, but I can't, for some reason, work out from Google Earth which airports they are. KCAI. That's not the one we're looking at, I don't think. So KOXR is on our 6 o'clock, more or less exactly. Which could be this one, I suppose. No, that's going to be... I don't know. Tell me in the comments which those... where those two airports we've just passed over are. Oh, spoke too soon about the stuttering. Never mind.
United 2351, contact Los Angeles Center on 125.8.
Going to 125.8, United 2351. Los Angeles Center, United 2351 is at flight level tree 00, climbing flight level tree 10.
United 2351, Los Angeles Center, continue to foiled as planned. United 2351, climb and maintain flight level tree 50.
Climb and maintain flight level tree 50, United 2351.
So this urban area just heading to our right is San Fernando, I believe, and it sort of bleeds into Burbank further southeast. And if you follow this main road, which you can just about make out, that leads down to centre of LA, which I think is going to be slightly too far away for us to make out clearly. But I'm sure we'll fly into LAX before too long. Pretty spectacular, isn't it? I haven't spent much time in California. I have been to San Francisco, and I liked it very much. I went with a friend who has family out there, and yeah, it's a great city. But no, never been to LA. And nor have I seen any of Colorado. So this is all. This is as close as I'll get for the foreseeable future. the virtual California. So 350 is our cruising altitude, and we are nearly at it.
United 2351, contact Los Angeles Center on 132.85.
132.85 United 2351. Los Angeles Center United 2351 is at flight level 345, climbing flight level 350.
United 2351, Los Angeles Center, continue to boil as planned.
No longer need our speed brake armed, obviously. Now that's interesting. It's chosen a cruise speed of 0.58 Mach, and it's showing our green dot speed as if it thinks we are wanting to make an approach, which is odd.
FedEx 1026, you are 15 miles east.
Very odd.
And maintain 4,000 feet. Expect ILS runway 7 left approach via RIP transition. Cleared to RIP.
Now, normally, if you go to your performance pages, you have takeoff, which we have, climb, cruise, descent, and approach. But in the cruise, or in the descent page, there's normally an option to activate the approach mode. And I don't know if that isn't there because we haven't started our descent yet, or if it isn't there because the aircraft thinks we are, well, the aircraft has already put us into approach mode. And I only wonder that I'm only even thinking about that because of our very low cruising Mach. Anyway, this is probably another reason why you shouldn't slew around an airport and then take off. But what we'll do, we'll engage selected airspeed mode, switch it to Mach, and we'll turn it up to 0.78 Mach, which is a fairly standard cruising speed for the A320.
FedEx 1026 contact SoCal approach on 124.5.
124.5 for FedEx 1026.
I can't shake the feeling that I've done something else very wrong. Like left my gear down as we did last time, but I haven't. Our flaps are retracted. Speed brake's disarmed, not that I think that would have anything to do with it. Oh well, we're accelerating. We're making good progress. We've got glorious scenery as far as the eye can see and clear skies. So I think it's going to be alright, whatever I've done or not done. When we hit our 0.78 Mach, I'll turn it back to managed speed just to see what it does. You probably won't believe this, but when I fly without streaming, everything goes beautifully. It's the pressure, I think. The pressure gets to me and I forget things. But no doubt the more I stream, the more things will go right.
United 2351 contact Los Angeles Center on 132.3.
Going to 132.3 United 2351. Los Angeles Center United 2351 flight level 350. United 2351 Los Angeles Center continue to Navy as planned.
Right, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to stop talking for the remainder of the cruise. If you have any questions or comments, I will be monitoring the chat and I will be back in a jiffy if I see anything pop up. But for now, I'll leave you to enjoy the views and I'll play you some lovely piano music. See you in a little bit.
United 2351. Los Angeles Center, United 2351, flight level 350.
United 2351 Los Angeles Center, continue to Navy as planned.
That UPS 928 that ATC are talking to at the moment, for those who are interested, is en route from Chicago Rockford to Ontario International.
Descend and maintain 7,800 feet, UPS 928. UPS 928, descend and maintain 6,800 feet.
Nothing but professionalism on this channel. I've just noticed I spelt monitoring wrong and I've corrected that.
United 2351, contact Los Angeles Center on 124.625.
124.625 United 2351. Los Angeles Center United 2351, flight level 350.
United 2351, Los Angeles Center, continue to Milo as planned.
Well, we're just approaching Las Vegas now. We'll shortly be overflying the LAS VOR, which is at Las Vegas Airport.
20,000 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, UPS 9er tree 8.
Hello, Cedric. Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? It really is stunning. How was your class? Good, good. So you were saying that when you get home, you're going to start Microsoft Flight Simulator for the first time. What's the first thing you're going to do? Oh, great. Well, the tutorial, the flying lessons included in the Cessna 152 are pretty good, actually. But there is a bit of a lack of documentation about the other planes. There's no documentation at all. So it does take a bit of getting used to if you've not done much simming before. But yeah, do use my videos and leave out the mistakes I make and you should be alright.
United 2351, contact Denver Center on 127.55.
127.55 for United 2351. Denver Center, United 2351, flight level 350.
United 2351, Denver Center, continue to Dicey as planned.
So this next waypoint, Dicey, is about the halfway point through our flight, and we're just coming up to the Glen Canyon National Recreation Area. So we'll have a look at that. We'll go back outside. Yeah, I'm using an i8700 graphics card, and I'm actually running everything on Ultra, so it's not the newest card. Sorry, that's my processor. It's a 1080 Ti, GeForce 1080 Ti graphics card. Yeah, and I'm running everything on Ultra. I've had to do a few tweaks, lower a few things to get everything to run smoothly. But yeah, as you can see, it's working alright at the minute. Oh yeah, you should be golden with an RTX 2060. I do notice that it has good days and bad days, this sim. Some days it runs very smoothly, other days it'll freeze for a little bit when you're coming up to a big city or a very complex airport. And I don't know why that is. I think it might be to do with the server load, the number of people playing at one time. Not too sure. But I was saying earlier while you were away that I have spent a lot of time trying to deal with my stuttering issue, and I thought it had gone away, but it hasn't. But in previous sims I've spent hours tweaking settings, changing config files, and I'm determined not to go too far down that path with this one, because as long as it works well most of the time, I'm happy. Yeah, it could be the live traffic, although I wouldn't have thought that that uses that much bandwidth. I'm not sure. I think it's most likely the scenery loading. So have you got the sim downloaded and ready to go? Oh, good call on the SSD. Yeah, I bought a new SSD specifically for it, and I'm glad I did. Enjoy your lunch. A lot of people on launch day had big problems downloading the data for the sim. And I was quite fortunate. At midnight local time, it just did it, and it took a long time. You know, it took 5-6 hours, but I went to bed and it was ready to go in the morning. So I'm just looking at my flight plan, thinking about setting up for the arrival, and our top of descent point should be between waypoints Abasan and Kutu. So we want to be ideally set up for our arrival about 100 miles before that. So yeah, we'll start dealing with all that at the waypoint, which is called Snowy, S-N-O-E-E. Which is a fair way off still, just over 120 nautical miles. Remind me to do that, because I've noticed watching back over my streams, I make all these grand promises about, well, this is how it should be done, and we'll do this at this point, and then I totally forget. One of the things I've done to try and correct the stuttering is uninstall Navigraph Symlink, which is the program that basically allows you to see where your aircraft is on your flight plan in the Navigraph mobile app or on the desktop. And I've uninstalled that because people have said that anything that uses SimConnect, which is a Microsoft program that's been around for years and allows you to link other apps with the simulator, people have been using SimConnect have been experiencing stutters. So whereas before I would have been able to have a look down at my iPad and see exactly where we are, I can't do that anymore. In previous simulators, I've done almost all my flying in Europe because I invested in ORBX land class scenery and things like that, which made it look as close to realistic as you could get. But now we have the whole world. It really is, yeah, I mean, you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere and it should look this good. Oops. Just having a look down for what the temperatures are. So we're minus 28 SAT. And before we hit this cloud, I'm going to look in my bookmarks because I saved something about icing, specifically turning on wing and engine anti-icing in the A320 ages ago when I was flying the FS Labs A320. I can't remember any of it, but I'd like to know if I should be turning it on now. Right, engine anti-ice must be on during all ground and flight operations when icing conditions exist or are anticipated, except during climb and cruise when the SAT is below minus 40 Celsius, so it isn't. And icing conditions exist when the outside air temperature, or the true air temperature, is at or below 10 degrees C. Yes, and it is. So we're going to turn on the anti-icing. The wing anti-icing only really needs to go on if there is evidence of icing. Oh, sorry, I missed your last message, Cedric. Did it help with the stuttering, though? I don't know. I think it did. I think I'm getting stuttering less frequently than I did before. But unless I go back and do, exactly the same flight twice, once with SimConnect or once with SimLink installed and once without it installed, I won't know. And I don't have the patience for that sort of thing. I like to get into an aircraft and go where I want and go to new places. Also, I think that there's, Asobo and Microsoft are aware of the SimConnect issue and they're going to be patching it. So I'm just going to leave it off for now, and we'll see what comes out with the next update. I'm just going to have a little refresh of what arrival we had planned. So the Ski 1 arrival via Bowl. And I believe we're anticipating a runway 26 or 25 arrival, one or the other. But looking at the latest METAR for Denver, they're currently experiencing an 8-knot wind from the north, so we might end up on a different runway. Wind 350, 8 knots. Few clouds, 1,300 feet, temperature 17. So we'll see what ATC want us to do. And then we'll see if the aircraft does what it's supposed to do when I change the arrival.
You are 20,000 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, FedEx 1545.
United 2351 traffic is 12 o'clock 4 miles at flight level 340 generic. Report them in sight. FedEx 1545 traffic is 10 o'clock 3 miles at flight level 350 Airbus A320. Report them in sight.
Oh, there he is, below us. Yeah.
United
Cool.
2351 traffic alert. 9 o'clock less than 1 mile flight level 340 generic.
Well, he's gone now. He's gone now. ATC panicked too late.
Have the generic in sight. FedEx 1545 traffic in sight.
It would be good if the ATC actually gave you and the other traffic instructions to avoid each other rather than just alerting you to their presence. But early days for the sim, early days for the ATC. I used to use Pro ATCX with Microsoft Flight Simulator, and that was good. It was more realistic, and it had real-world voices recorded by people with different accents, so it gave you a bit more of a sense of place. So I'm hopeful that they will port it over to this sim eventually. So we're not too far from Telluride at the moment. It's just over in this direction somewhere.
One contact Denver Center on 118.575.
And Telluride is one of the hand-built airports. I can't remember if it's in the standard edition or one of the higher levels, but it's really nice. It's this sort of scenery, and it's a great place to fly out of if you're looking for a new destination.
United 2351, contact Denver Center on 125.35.
125.35 for United 2351. Denver Center, United 2351, flight level 350.
United 2351, Denver Center, continue to snowy as planned. UPS 9754, traffic is 1 o'clock 4 miles at flight level 350, Airbus A320. Report them in sight. United 2351, traffic is 1 o'clock 3 miles at flight level 380, generic. Report them in sight.
United 2351, have the generic in sight.
UPS 9754, have the Airbus A320 inside.
So for those of you who haven't been to Denver Airport before, it is absolutely vast. It's the largest airport in North America, second largest in the world.
Going to 118.575 UPS 9754.
So I'm hoping we'll get one of the remote runways to land on so that we can have a good taxi around and check out the scenery. I say remote runways, none of them are that remote from the central terminals, but some are further than others. Okay, so we're more or less at snowy now. So we will set up for our approach. We can't do everything because we don't know which runway we're going to be landing on, but we can start filling in the approach page. And I did have the weather up. Where did I put it? Right, I'll refresh that. So wind is now from 350 at 8 knots. The temperature is 17. And the QNH is 30.06. Oh, Interesting. Will this want me to put it in inches of mercury or hectopascals? I don't know. I'd guess hectopascals.
Descend and maintain 11,000 feet, FedEx 149er0.
1017 hectopascals. We'll try that. Transition altitude is going to be 18,000. And we don't, of course, know what our decision altitude is going to be yet until we know which runway we're landing on. What I'm doing here is I've selected airport mode, which should show us all of the airports within range on the ND, but it isn't, because I wanted to know what that airport was down there. That one. Again, no prizes, but you'll have my utmost respect if you tell me in the comments what airport that is. We are just beyond the snowy intersection. Ooh, and it's marked our top of descent point. It doesn't always do that. But that's where we should be starting our descent. Obviously, as long as ATC clear us for a lower altitude. Oh, that's excellent news. Well, I hope you really enjoy it. I'm sure you will. Let me know how you get on with the with your first taste of the sim.
United 2351, contact Denver Center on 134.5.
134.5 United 2351. Denver Center United 2351 flight level 350.
United 2351 Denver Center, continue to Abasin as planned.
One of the many things that I said I would do, but haven't done, is turn manage speed mode back on to see if it wants to slow us down to whatever we were at before, which I think was our green dot approach speed. Yeah, it does. So we'll turn that back off and keep manage speed mode on at 0.78 Mach. Those are some impressive mountains.
Contact Denver Center on 119.85.
Going to 119.85 United 2351. Denver Center United 2351 flight level 350.
United 2351 Denver Center, continue to Abasin as planned.
So our calculated top of descent point is after Abasin and before K2 from the flight plan. We've passed the top of descent point that the simulator calculated, I think, or it's just disappeared. It often doesn't show it at all. But yeah, any minute now we should be expecting ATC to clear us down. And this will be my first approach into the Flightbeam Denver scenery. I have had a little look around it to make sure it works okay, but I've never flown into it before, so exciting times.
United 2351 descend and maintain flight level 270.
And there it is.
Descent and maintain flight level 270 United 2351.
So what I'm going to do now, and I've got no idea how realistic this is, but I'm going to switch from Mach units to knots, and I'm going to try and ask the aircraft to maintain 285 knots indicated airspeed, which will, in effect, slow our ground speed down as we descend into denser air. So you'll notice we are maintaining 280 knots. 285 is fine. We're maintaining roughly 285 knots, and our Mach is coming down. And our ground speed here is also coming down. So in the absence of a working managed speed mode, this seems to be a good way of gradually slowing down as we descend. Oh, okay. Oh, that's irritating. I don't know what to suggest, to be honest with you. I installed mine directly onto my SSD. So there are two options. The first option is when you download the game from the Microsoft Store or Steam, you choose a folder for the game itself, and then once you start it, it asks for a folder to put its data in, which is the big sort of 90 gigabyte download. So I don't know if you can change that. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can point it somewhere else once it's installed, I'm afraid.
17,000 feet United 2351.
Oh no. Well, I mean, in your shoes, I don't know how fast your internet connection is, but if I was you, I'd be tempted to uninstall the whole lot and start again and point it to the right place, or just try it, just move it back to where it was, give it a go, see if it works for you, and then look up if it's possible to move it once it's installed. It might be possible to do it, but I suspect just dragging it from one disk to another wouldn't work. So yeah, that's my advice for what it's worth. Either delete the whole lot and start again, or put it back to where it was.
United 2351, please expedite your descent to 17,000 feet.
Interesting, it doesn't want to descend in managed altitude mode either. Oh, it does, it's just taking its time. You'll get there, Cedric. It'll be worth it. I know this is irritating, I can imagine. Will this game run with GTX 1660 Super? Yes, I can quite confidently say it will, because that's better than my graphics card, which is a 1080 Ti, so yeah, you should be fine with that. Obviously, it depends a bit on your processor as well, and as long as you've got 16 gigabytes of RAM and a fairly modern processor, you should be fine.
United 2351, contact Denver Center on 125.905.
Going to 125.905 United 2351. Denver Center United 2351 is out of flight level 240 for 17,000 feet.
United 2351, Denver Center, continue to be as planned.
Right, you've got a Ryzen 5 3500, yeah. I mean, I think that'll be. I don't know. I'm not an expert on processors and things like that. I just know that what I've got, which is an 8700, works fine. And I've also heard that as long as your processor has 4 cores, you should be okay. But I'm not necessarily the best person to ask about that. Like, I don't really even know what a Ryzen 5 3600 is, if I'm honest. I assume it's a 3-core CPU, so you might have to turn some settings down. But I think the game's pretty scalable, so as long as you don't mind losing a bit of detail, you should be able to get decent frame rates with whatever you've got, more or less. Oh, it's 6-core, is it? Oh yeah, you'll be fine. Yeah, I'm confident you'll be fine. If you're not sure how it'll run, and you don't yet have an Xbox Game Pass subscription, you can get a 1-month trial for, I believe, $1, and then you can download the standard edition of the game, try it out and see if it works for you. So if you've got any doubt, I'd suggest going down that route. Right, so we're just approaching 18,000 feet, which is the transition level. And I'm going to double check the latest METAR for Denver. And it's 1020 hectopascals the pressure, or 30.11, so we'll change that in here. So you can see I'm having a few stutters here. I assume that's while Denver loads in the distance. It's frustrating. I wouldn't recommend downloading a pirated version, no. I certainly think for $1, probably not worth the hassle, never mind the morality of it.
119er decimal tree for United 2351. Denver approach United 2351 is out of 17,300 feet for 17,000 feet.
United 2351, Denver approach, continue to direct as planned. Altimeter tree 0.00.
Oh, okay, so we've got a slightly different altimeter setting in Sim.
And maintain 11,000 feet.
Descent and maintain 11,000 feet United 2351.
No, I'm not a pilot. I've just been simming for a long time.
Going to 125.905 United 2351. Denver Center United 2351 is out of 17,000 feet for 11,000 feet.
United 2351 Denver Center, continue to Zeta as planned. Altimeter 29.908.
Okay, so keep getting different altimeter settings.
Approach on 119.3.
Going to 119.3 United 2351. Denver approach United 2351 is out of 16,300 feet for 11,000 feet.
United 2351 Denver approach, continue to Zeta as planned. Altimeter 29.907. United 2351 contact Denver Center on 125.905.
Going to 125.905 United 2351. Denver Center United 2351 is at 15,900 feet descending 11,000 feet.
United 2351 Denver Center, continue to Zeta as planned. Altimeter 29.906. United 2351 contact Denver approach on 119.3.
Gosh, there's a lot of radio traffic, isn't there? I'm struggling to keep up with the plane and the chat and the and the ATC.
Denver approach United 2351 is at 15,500 feet descending 11,000 feet.
United
I'm just listening to this.
Denver approach, continue to Zeta as planned. Altimeter 29.905.
Okay, right. So, in answer to your question, Cedric, I work for the railway as a living, and just to cover what I've been up to in the aeroplane since all this radio traffic started, I've slowed the selected speed down to 250 knots because that's the limit below 10,000 feet, and I've been adjusting the altimeter setting according to what ATC are telling me it is. Quite why it's changing so frequently, I don't know. And what I would really like from the approach controller is some indication of what runway we're going to be landing on at Denver, so I can set up the approach. And in the real world, we would definitely have this information by now. In the ATC window, when you're flying VFR, you have the option to check the ATIS, to tune to the ATIS frequency for the airport, and that gives you that information as well. So that's, for those of you who don't know, the Automated Terminal Information Service, and it provides information about the local weather, about the runways in use, and other important things that pilots need to know. But for some reason, with an IFR flight plan, it won't let me do it. So we don't have very far at all left to run now. We're only just over 10 miles from Denver Airport. It's over there somewhere. In fact, I think that's it. It's just we can't see it because of the post. So yeah, I think this is the airport over here, I think.
United 2351, you are 11 miles southwest. Keep speed below 210 knots. Expect RNAV Zulu runway 26 approach via Hibat transition. Clear to Hibat.
Keep speed below 210 knots. Expect RNAV Zulu runway 26 approach via Hibat transition. Clear to Hibat United 2351.
Okay, so we finally got our approach clearance and we are doing an RNAV Zulu into runway 26. So if we go back to the we want to go into the flight plan page, then Denver, then arrival, and I don't know why they're giving us an RNAV rather than an ILS. I would rather do an ILS because I'm not sure how well this aircraft flies RNAV approaches, but we'll try it. What was the transition? GBAT. Which is not there. Okay. I'm going to select another approach, and I'm going to try the ILS runway 26. Oh, maybe there isn't an ILS. Maybe that's why. Yes, there is. ILS runway 26. Via vectors. That'll be good.
United 2351 would like ILS runway 26 approach vectors to final.
Okay, this aircraft is no longer following our flight plan, it's just turned us towards the airport. That's a bug. We didn't actually change anything in our flight plan, we were just, we had a look at the approach and then pressed erase, so it should have kept us going towards GBAT. So now I'm going to have to turn to heading mode and set a heading similar to what we were on.
United 2351 would like ILS runway 26 approach vectors to final.
And now air traffic control have stopped talking to us completely, so that's good. It's all right. We'll assume it's a radio failure, and we will just go into the arrival. Oh, good. Well done, Cedric. I'm glad you've managed to fix it. This is all going horribly wrong here. But it's all good fun. ILS runway 26.
United 2351,
We're going to
you are
have
6 miles east.
Ah,
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect vectors ILS runway 26 approach.
they've woken up and they're going to give us
Maintain
vectors.
present heading
Excellent.
and altitude. Expect vectors ILS runway 26 approach United 2351.
I can't maintain the exact heading because I didn't see what it was, but we'll go with 110. Speed should be below 210, they said, so we're managing that. And what do I need to do? I need to go back into my perf page. We've got ILS 26 indicated here. So on my iPad, I'm going to look at the chart for the ILS approach runway 26 and find out what the decision altitude is. Decision altitude is 5509, which is 200 feet above ground. We've got our V approach, we've got flaps full set. Good. Panic over, everybody. We've got this. So if we look at this view, the Rose view as opposed to the Arc view, you can see that Denver is behind us at about our 5 o'clock position, and we're going to be landing on runway 26, which will be, I just pointed with my finger, that's not helpful, is it? Which will be in this direction here. So sort of around at our 4 or 5 o'clock position. Oh, hooray, I'm glad it's working. I'm glad it's working. The question is, are you going to stay and watch me land this plane, or are you going to go and fly your own plane, Cedric? I won't be offended. Obviously, it'd be lovely to have you with me for the landing, but I can imagine the excitement of finally getting it working. I think your silence answers that question perfectly. Right, so we'll put the landing system on. And again, I'm going to hand back speed control to the aircraft and see how it fares. Because we should be in approach mode now. And I think we have been in approach mode all the way through. So yeah, we're below the green dot speed where we extend flaps 1, but I'm going to leave the flaps up now until we are approaching our either our base leg or our final. I'm surprised not to have the ILS showing up. The localizer and glide slope bars should have magenta lines on, because I'm sure we're within range. I'm going to check the radio page.
United 2351, descend and maintain 9,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 9,000 feet, United 2351.
Oh, it doesn't have a frequency in there. That would be why. I found with the ORBX London city scenery that something they had done had got rid of the ILS frequencies and the tower and everything, and I wonder if the same thing has happened here. I'll try putting it in, but I don't think this plane will let you just input a frequency. No, invalid entry. Let's just try selecting it again, see if that fixes it.
United 2351,
No.
contact Denver Center on 125.905.
125.905 for United 2351. Denver Center, United 2351 is at 9,400 feet, descending 9,000 feet.
United 2351 Denver Center, continue as planned. Altimeter 29.86.
I wonder if we can choose a visual approach, seeing as we can't tune the ILS. I've totally forgotten what runway we're going for. Was it 26? Yeah. Okay, let's request a visual runway 26 and see if they give us some vectors, because I think
Denver
they're not
Center,
doing
United
anything at the moment.
2351 requesting vector to next waypoint.
Oh, I pressed the wrong
United
button there.
2351 turn right heading 160.
Turn right heading 160, United 2351.
Okay. Now we've got a vector.
Denver Center,
Let's
United
ask for our approach.
2351 would like to change destination to Denver.
United 2351 is cleared to Denver Airport as filed. Squawk 0161.
United 2351 cleared to Denver Airport as filed. Squawk 0161.
I pressed the wrong thing again.
2351 read back correct. Radar contact 9,000 feet. Altimeter 29.85. Turn right heading 290.
Okay, right heading 290.
Turn right heading 290, United 2351.
United 2351, you are 35 miles southeast. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect RNAV Zulu runway 26 approach via fuzz transition. Cleared to fuzz.
Okay, all right. Let's try
Maintain
the
present heading and altitude.
RNAV
Expect
Zulu.
RNAV
Let's
Zulu
try it.
Runway 26 approach via fuzz transition. Cleared to fuzz, United 2351.
So I guess we'll put in our original star again, and we'll go via the fuzz transition if it's there. It's not there. It's not there. Yeah, it's very weird that the nav data that the FMGS has access to isn't the same as what ATC are telling us. Let's see if we can input it manually. FUZZZ. Okay. Ooh, that's interesting, isn't it?
Maintain 10,000 feet, jump in air 12.
Okay, good.
351 contact Denver approach on 119er decimal tree.
119er decimal tree for United 2351. Denver approach United 2351 9,000 feet.
United 2351 Denver approach, continue to fuzz as planned. Altimeter 29er decimal 86.
Right, so I believe we're back in business. I've given us a direct to fuzz, so the aircraft should now fly us in there, and that should lead us straight onto the final for the RNAV runway 26. And we'll be touching down at 5,309 feet above sea level, so that means we're only something about 4,500 feet above the airport at the moment, or above the runway threshold. So it's all looking alright. And once again, I'm in the fortunate position of being able to say with some confidence that my piloting was not at fault for any of that. It was all ATC and this default Airbus A320. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. Actually, don't. Let's not tempt fate. So I've extended the first stage of flaps, probably a little bit early. I just got overexcited about us actually being able to get this thing on the ground. What haven't I done? I haven't turned on the landing lights below 10,000 feet. So there's no cloud, so we can turn off the anti-ice now, which would improve our engine performance slightly in the real world. Just going to bring up the chart for the RNAV runway 26. So from fuzz we're going to head to grasp. Let's just check that's there in the ND. Yes, it is. And by grasp we want to be at 7,000 feet, and then it's a straight 3-degree glide path to the runway. Okay, I'm going to arm the approach mode. So it's a shame about the missing ILS, but that's the beauty of RNAV, you don't need one if you've got a correctly equipped aircraft.
United 2351 descend and maintain 7,300 feet.
Descend and maintain 7,300 feet. United 2351.
Right, down to 7,300. Ah, I didn't do that. Didn't insert the temporary flight plan. But it's alright, I got there just in time. I think. Going to overshoot the final approach course a little bit, but we'll get back on track. See, I pretend like all these things were mistakes, but of course I'm doing them deliberately just to reassure new simmers who don't have my experience that you can have a perfectly good flight even if you get things wrong. So like I said, we should be at 7,000 feet by grasp, but they've only cleared us to 7,300 for some reason. Right, flaps 2, gear down. I'm just going to ignore ATC and descend us to 7,000.
United 2351, you are 9 miles east of Denver. Contact Denver Tower on 132.35 when inbound on the approach.
Tower on 132.35 United 2351. Denver Tower United 2351 8 miles east inbound RNAV Zulu runway 26 approach.
United 2351 Denver Tower. Cleared RNAV Zulu runway 26 approach. Altimeter 29.89er wind 308 at 6. United 2351 cleared to land runway 26. Wind 308 at 6.
Excellent, so we've got our landing clearance. We've got a slight crosswind from the right, but it's very... it's only 6 knots. The aircraft's descending nicely on the RNAV approach.
1,000.
And I'll turn the autopilot, well, give us some more flaps. Flaps 3. Flaps full.
Overspeed.
Don't worry about a bit of overspeed. So we're letting the aircraft manage the thrust, and I'll turn the autopilot off and bring her in. Butter, I will do my best. We're a bit high, according to the pappies.
200. 100. 650. 40.
Well, it was sort of less butter than crunchy peanut butter, I think, but yeah, not my finest landing, but not my worst. We've got reverse thrust on. We're using manual braking today for reasons that I will think of later, and had nothing to do with me forgetting to arm the auto brake or the speed brake. Ah dear. Sorry, I know there's some messages to read. I'll exit the runway and have a proper look at what you've been saying.
Turn next taxiway. United 2351, contact ground on 121.85.
Hooray! Welcome to Denver, everybody.
121.85 United 2351.
Right. Very steep slope up from the runway here. Right, landing lights off. Runway turn off, lights off. Taxi light on, strobe off. We'll start the APU in a minute because I think we've got quite a long taxi in. And we may as well save fuel. Right, you need a full-size keyboard. Do you? Yeah, I guess for the function keys and that, yeah, it would be handy. And good, I'm glad it was better than your landings. It's better than many of my landings as well. Right. Oh, unfortunately the in-stream chat has disconnected from YouTube. So I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to Hey It's Nabster. We're still connected on Twitch, but not on YouTube. Okay, so now it's time to work out where we're taxiing to, which is not so easy at this airport. I'm going to bring up the taxi chart on my iPad. And we're going to go where the yesterday's real-world flight went, which was gate Alpha 33. So we've landed on 26. So yeah, we want to go left. We want to go left, that's a start, we'll go left. Towards the terminal, and then when we get there, I'll try and work out which concourse A is, because it's not that clear from the main airport chart. For complete information, see inset. Oh yeah, there's an inset. Okay, I know where we're going. So, for those of you who have just joined us, this is the Flightbeam version of Denver. And that was my first landing at it. So we'll have a look on the taxi in and see what we think. A bit bumpy, isn't it? Bear with me a second, there's someone at the door. Right, sorry about that. Very important cat food delivery. Back. So, very, very, very bumpy taxiway. which isn't great. Just looking at my charts. So I think we're going to want to turn right onto taxiway 3 Echo via Alpha November. Hello, Fabio. Yeah, I mean, I'm not in live mode at the moment, but on another stream, definitely. Fabio, for those of you who can't see on the in-stream chats, just said, can I play with you? And yeah, that is something I'd like to do. Do a bit of multiplayer at some point. What I need to do, so Fabio, I don't know if you've watched any of my videos, but I'm very new to streaming and I don't really know what I'm doing. But I believe I should set up a Discord server or something like that. Does that sound like a sensible idea? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this taxiway. Having a lot of trouble managing my thrust as well, but to keep the aeroplane moving at a sensible speed. Real world A320s tend to taxi fine on idle thrust, and you actually need to brake to keep the speed down, but this one seems to need quite a lot of oomph. So there are 3 concourses at Denver, and we want the furthest one. So yeah, we want taxiway Alpha November. Yes, Fabio, I do have the A320 Neo liveries, so yeah, we're in the United at the moment. They're a mixed bag, some are better than others, but considering people are creating them for free, really can't complain. Right, I need to read a taxiway sign. What does that say? Echo Charlie. I can't see that. I can't see that at all on my map. Ah, does that say Alpha November? Yes, it does. Right. We can totally do this, people. We can do it. What's GCRR, Fabio? Oh, cool. I shall look it up. Yes, yeah, I gathered it was a code. No, I'll have a look. I'll have a look at it after this. So I think we want to turn left here. Our gates is one of the ones on this side of the concourse. And inevitably there'll be an aircraft already parked at it, but it doesn't matter, we'll find a nearby one. Start the APU now. The APU provides power once we shut down the engines, for those of you who didn't know that. So that's Alpha 51. So we're just Alpha 33 is sort of the other end. So what are my thoughts on Flightbeam Denver so far? Didn't like the bumpiness of the taxiways, and there were also some terrain elevation issues around them, which made them look a bit, well, the grass in between them look a little bit odd. But I mean, this is spectacular. This is really, the texturing's just right, the colours seem just right. It feels like a real airport. And therefore, I think overall I'm pretty impressed with it, to be honest. APU bleed on, and we'll turn the taxi light off to avoid dazzling the ground staff. And I believe this might be Alpha 33? No, I think it's the next one. I think it's the next one. What do we? That's Alpha 37. Okay. So yeah, it's the next one which has a jetway, which will be, yeah, should be this one, I think. Alpha 35, Alpha 33 something, that'll do. Good for you, Cedric. Cedric is going to do, for those of you who can't see it in the chat, his first flight from Amsterdam to Prague, having done some training. Hope it goes really well. Right, nearly there, nearly there. We don't have a marshaller, we've just got some bloke messing around with his car. So we'll guess it. We'll guess it's about there. Well, welcome to Denver, Concourse A. Turn the engines off. We'll turn the beacon light off. Leave the nav and logo on. We'll get the jetway connected.
Denver ground United 2351, could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
United 2351, the jetway is going to be connected.
Yeah, the ground markings are really good, aren't they? It looks like some well-worn tarmac, which is of course what it is. And there you have it. Another flight completed. United 2351, Santa Barbara to Denver. Thank you very much for joining me for it. Cedric, enjoy your new sim. Fabio, I'll definitely check out your local airport. And thank you all for being here, and I hope to see you on the next one. Take care.